Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today is a beautiful, quiet day outside, but inside my head, the gears are turning at a million miles an hour. Grab a coffee, settle in, and let us dive right into the deep end of Fairmont Crest because things are getting incredibly complicated, and I need to talk this out with all of you. I cannot stop thinking about that opening sequence with Marcel. And honestly, there is something about it that just does not sit right with me. We see Marcel, a veteran police detective who has spent years working robbery and homicide, walking back into the precinct, but he doesn't look like a man dedicated to the law. He looks like a man looking over his shoulder. He opens his desk drawer, takes an unidentified object, and locks it away with this heavy, almost suffocating sense of urgency. What on earth did he just lock in that desk? I can't help but feel that this single action is the key to a much darker storyline. Immediately after hiding whatever it was, he picks up the phone and makes a call to set up a meeting with Leslie. But if you ask me, that call was just a distraction. It was a pivot. Marcel is hiding something massive. We have to remember the whispers we've heard in the background. Smitty, with his sharp investigative journalist instincts, has previously flagged some glaring red flags regarding Marcel's finances. We are talking about unusual sums of money, financial discrepancies that simply do not align with a detective's city salary. Whenever unexplained money starts floating around Fairmont Crest, my mind immediately goes to one person, Joey Armstrong. Is it possible that Marcel is on Joey's payroll? Is he a dirty cop tying up loose ends for the casino boss? The pressure on Marcel right now is palpable. It seems like the walls are closing in on him, and the stress of his hidden criminal ties is starting to bleed into his personal life. He is a man walking a tightrope, and I think his sudden explosive temper is just a symptom of a much deeper, much more dangerous panic. This brings us to that incredibly tense scene in the hotel room with Leslie. Leslie is playing the part of the supportive partner, mixing drinks, trying to create a moment of intimacy. And then, completely out of nowhere, Marcel drops the hammer. He tells her point blank that their relationship is going nowhere. It is such an abrasive, calculated move. Leslie naturally is furious. She demands to know what is going through his head. And what is his excuse? He brings up the Sheila, his boat, his incredibly cramped, isolating living situation. He wants her to move on to the boat with him. But I keep coming back to the thought that Marcel knew exactly what he was doing here. He knew Leslie would never agree to that. Leslie is a woman who has fought tooth and nail for everything she has. She looks at him and flat out refuses to shrink her life to fit into his tiny, suffocating world. She tells him she will never apologize for wanting more, for striving to get what she desires. It is a powerful moment for her, but it also plays right into Marcel's hands. She gets absolutely fed up with his toxic negativity and kicks him out. But maybe I am overthinking this, but what if Marcel wanted her to kick him out? What if pushing Leslie away was his twisted way of protecting her from whatever financial or criminal fallout is about to hit him? Or maybe he just couldn't handle the charade anymore while his professional life is secretly imploding. After the explosive breakup, we see Marcel retreating to Uptown to drown his sorrows. And who is behind the bar? Grayson. There is a rich irony here. Grayson, a guy who was literally wrapped up in the plasma ring underworld, is now pouring drinks for a veteran detective who might be just as corrupt. Grayson can instantly tell that Marcel is spiraling and offers a listening ear. Marcel leans on the bar and starts complaining about women, painting himself as the victim of Leslie's ambition. But I am not buying it for a second. If you look closely at Marcel's eyes, that isn't heartbreak. That is the look of a man who is terrified. The complaints about his love life are just a convenient smokescreen to hide the sheer panic of his financial secrets and whatever he locked in that desk earlier. Meanwhile, back at the hotel, the facade completely crumbles for Leslie. The second the door clicks shut behind Marcel, she breaks down. She starts sobbing. And it is in this moment of profound vulnerability that her mind drifts back to the one man she has never truly gotten over, Ted Richardson. The transition into her flashback is so beautifully devastating. We are transported back in time to a dimly lit dive bar. It is the very beginning of everything. Leslie is behind the bar, and in walks Ted. I love the specific details here. The fact that Ted had this random craving for pancakes. It is such a human, mundane detail that grounds their epic, destructive romance. In the flashback, Leslie slides a glass of bourbon across the bar to him. She looks at this handsome, clearly broken man and asks him a question that cuts right to the bone. Are you mourning a lost job or a lost lover? And Ted, in that quiet, defeated voice, confesses that losing a lover is infinitely harder to face than losing a full-time job. We know now that Ted was drowning in the misery of his failing marriage to Nicole, the miscarriages, the unbearable weight of his personal life. But in that moment, to Leslie, he was just a fascinating, wounded man. Her bluntness, her utter lack of pretense completely captivated him. Before he leaves the bar, he looks at her and compliments her cheekbones. It is such a small, intimate remark, but you can see the exact second Leslie's heart skips a beat. That was the hook. That was the moment she was doomed. Snapping back to the present, Leslie is completely unmoored. Driven by this tidal wave of nostalgia and desperation, she actually goes to Ted's door. But the universe is cruel, and Ted doesn't answer. He isn't there. He is out building a new life, a healthy life with Shanice. So Leslie does the only thing she can think to do. She leaves the bottle of wine and the glasses right there at his door. It is a pathetic, heartbreaking gesture. She just blew up her relationship with Marcel, consciously or unconsciously, to clear the path for a ghost. She is still chasing a phantom of a romance that burned out years ago. Needing an escape from her own mind, Leslie eventually wanders into Uptown, and this is where the past and present beautifully collide. She runs into Grayson, who is working his shift. Grayson stops what he is doing and takes a moment to genuinely thank her. He reminds her that when he was at his absolute lowest, completely broken and desperate, she threw him a lifeline by giving him a chance at the clinic. Leslie brushes it off with this bittersweet smile. She tells him that she has been through her own dark times, that she knows exactly what it feels like to need someone to reach out and pull you up. And then she mentions her past, how she used to be a damn good bartender. It is a fleeting comment, but it shows how heavily her past is weighing on her tonight. She is looking at Grayson, but she is seeing herself years ago wiping down that bar when Ted walked in. And of course, the memories just won't stop coming. The narrative pulls us into another flashback, the absolute turning point of her life. She remembers Ted coming back to the bar to see her. He thanks her for being so kind to him on a night when he felt completely invisible. And he gives her a gift, a simple, sweet teddy bear. It is such an innocent gesture, but the emotional charge between them is electric. Leslie leans in to give him a simple kiss on the cheek to say thank you. But the moment their skin touches, the gravity shifts. That innocent peck turns into a deep, passionate, life-altering kiss. It was the moment they crossed the line. It was the moment Ted took off his wedding ring in his heart, and the moment Leslie tied her soul to a man who would eventually break it. Finally, we see Leslie returning to Eva's house. The house is quiet. She lies down on the sofa, pulling her knees to her chest. And what is she holding? That same teddy bear. It is old now, worn out, slightly torn at the seams, a perfect metaphor for her heart and her lingering love for Ted. She clutches it to her chest, completely unable to let go of the past. She just broke up with Marcel, a man who is currently spiraling into a dark, potentially criminal abyss, but she isn't shedding a single tear for him anymore. Her heart is entirely consumed by Ted Richardson. I keep coming back to the thought that the truth of this night is so much more complicated than it appears. Leslie has no idea that Marcel's anger wasn't really about her ambition or the boat. She doesn't know about the desk, the suspicious money, or the shadow of Joey Armstrong looming over him. Marcel's rage was a shield, a cover for the massive trouble he is in. While he is sitting at a bar trying to figure out how to survive whatever storm is coming for him, Leslie is curled up on a sofa, willingly drowning in the memories of a love affair that is long dead. The past and the present are violently crashing into each other for both of these characters. It leaves me with this incredibly unsettling realization. Marcel is running from his future, and Leslie is hopelessly trapped in her past. I could be wrong, but it feels like both of them are on a collision course with absolute tragedy. What do you guys think? Let me know, because I cannot shake this feeling of impending doom.